didn't see my last video, you can see me now. I shaved my head. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about my shaved head and why I did it, or buzzed head technically. Mainly because I'm getting a lot of questions in real life, and just I don't have any space to really talk about it fully, you know, the way I would want to when people ask me why I've done it. And I just want to get my thoughts out. It's kind of like a diary. So, sorry, side note, I am sick, but this is the only time that I can really record this video. So I've always wanted to shave my head since I was like a kid, probably, or since the first time I've seen a woman shave their head. One of the first bands I've ever heard in my life actually is the Cranberries. When I was a baby, my mom listened to them, so I probably heard them before I was ever born. The Cranberries and Bob Marley are my two staples. So ever since I was born, like, I had more hair than this. Even when I was born, I had curls. And then growing up, my mom just kind of kept it really long, like to my hips, basically. She would braid it, and it just took so much time out of my day, and it was like such a hassle thing to have, to be honest. I loved it. It was really beautiful. It was just that super long, like, middle part hippie hair. And then she, you know, got to a point where every time she would do it, I wouldn't like it because I was getting older, so I had to learn how to do everything myself, and that's when I wanted to start cutting it. I wanted to cut it, and I wanted to dye my hair different colors. So I started by getting like highlights and cutting it just shorter, getting layers, things like that, which helped because I have really thick hair. And then one specific thing I remember is I got bangs for the first time in 7th grade. And I didn't even really have a real boyfriend, but I had this guy that supposedly liked me, and everyone made a big deal about the fact that I didn't talk to him before getting bangs, which I thought was really strange because I've always just done what I wanted with how I look, no matter how weird it was. So why would I care about some boy's opinion, you know? And it made me feel super insecure about it. Like, I wasn't even able to enjoy my bangs for myself because I was just like shocked by the fact that, oh, I have to care about what boys think about how I look now. I don't know. Especially when it's decisions like that, things that are just so trivial that I make for myself. But I've had bangs probably ever since then. Like, honestly, since I've had long hair. I have a big forehead, an even bigger chin, but definitely a big forehead, so bangs are like a really good sidekick to that. And I learned how to work them better. And that guy isn't in my life at all, ever, really, not even then. But let's see. So anytime I have seen someone shave their head, like seen videos of it on YouTube, or I haven't even watched V for Vendetta, but just knowing Natalie Portman and how she looks with the buzzed head, it was just the coolest thing ever. Like, she just looks so beautiful. And every video I've seen of girls, no matter what they look like before, they always look better after they cut all their hair off. Like, it was just the most beautiful thing to see someone's face. And I think that when you do it for yourself, it's scary because everyone just sees your face and there's nothing to hide behind. And it's just kind of a shock, you know? It's just like nothing but face, really. You can't fake it, you can't, I don't know, I feel like a lot of times I might not think my face looks that good, but I would love my hair and I would put so much effort into how it looked. But I was super insecure still, and I didn't think I was beautiful, even if I liked my hair. And so in college, on 2 different occasions, I cut all my hair off into like a pixie cut. I've never cut it this short before. And the first time was when my boyfriend, now my husband, the love of my life, was moving away to California to go to school, and it just felt like such a heartbreaking thing. Really, I knew that it wasn't the end. It didn't you know, it didn't feel like the end, but I was really scared, and I think I just wanted control over something, and I just wanted to then just make decisions and do what I wanted, because I was scared about the things that I couldn't control, which were, you know, my love moving away. So I remember I got my very first pair of Doc Martens around that time too, and I went to New York with my mom for some kind of like work business trip that she had, and I just went there and I got all my hair cut off. Pretty short, but I still had bangs, which is super important to think about because I still had something to hide behind in case I was afraid that I would be ugly, to be honest. So I still wanted hair, and I remember when I first got it cut there, I did like a bob first, just to see, and I hated it, so I just told her to keep going. But that was the first time I did it, and my husband was so scared, honestly, that I was gonna cut all my hair off at that time, which is really funny to think about now. But I think it was just because everything was changing in our lives. Everything that we knew, our relationship, you know, went from not only being long distance, like an hour, but time change in 3,000 miles, and we didn't know what was gonna happen, what would happen. So then the second time that I cut my hair was in like 2014? Yeah, 2014, Valentine's Day. I was just at a point, I was in art school, I was so depressed and frustrated with my thesis, and everyone around me looked the same, and everything was just awful to me. Like, I was just in such a fucking hole, honestly. And I just felt so sick of my hair being all around me, and I just felt sick of everything. So I cut it off, and it was really fun. The thing about me is, as soon as I make a decision, unless it's involving something else, but if it's involving something that I can control, something with my appearance, you know, some kind of thing like that, once I decide I need to do it, like, right away. I can't stand waiting. I'm a patient person with other people, but not with myself. I've gotta do it now, because I know I want to do it, and I made up my mind. Each time I've cut my hair off, I never buzzed it, and I knew I wanted to do this someday. I wouldn't feel complete unless I did it, if that makes sense. And I've watched a lot of videos on people talking about this and their reasons why, but I can't even like sum it up into one. I'm glad I waited until after I was married, because I always just imagined my wedding pictures with long hippie hair. It was just like a dream. So I'm happy that I had long hair. Now, I just kept making little excuses to not do it, you know, or I was nervous because at this point in my life I work in a barbershop. So I work in a man cave, and I just see men constantly. I'm so introverted, and I have to talk so much at work, and I have to deal with so many people's opinions about everything, about how I look, about the world, about how women should be, you know, and I already deal with that with hair. So I was like, man, I don't want to have to hear it. I don't want to have to hear opinions, you know, about something that is hard to do by yourself. So that was a big fear. And then, honestly, I told my mom that I wanted to do it. And shockingly, because she has short hair and she's seen me cut my hair other times, she was like really not supportive of me doing it, and was really just like old school, like, don't cut your pretty hair, you know, and worried that I would be ugly, sort of. She didn't say that, but she said my face is strong because I have a freaking moon face. But I don't think that strong means that you can't be beautiful, and actually I know that. And I think a big thing is that if you want to do something, don't let other people being afraid affect you. Because a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid of what other people think, and they're afraid of what society says and all of those things. And so then that can get into your head when you start talking about your decisions. A lot of times when I make a decision, I don't tell anyone and I just do it. Like, I just move away or cut my hair or whatever I want to do. I just decide. But every once in a while I talk to people and I always regret it because I leave with more crap in my head than I need. You know, I just needed my own thoughts. When it comes to something like cutting your hair, you're not hurting someone else, you're not hurting yourself. So do it if you want to, and don't ask anyone. I don't have many people in my life, like, honestly in my life, so I only talk to a few people about it anyway. And my husband knows I've always wanted to do it, and he's changed a million times since we've gotten together, like 10 years ago. Obviously we both have, we've grown up, and he really loves my hair now. It's really surprising. I knew he was supportive of my decision to do it, because he helped me cut it off, even when I just told him, let's do this today. Today's the day. He jumped right in and helped me cut my hair. But he actually loves it more than I thought, and he doesn't want me to change it. Like, he doesn't even want it to grow out. And he keeps calling me an alien or a peach. It's the cutest thing. It's like a super great bonus. But I think it's important to know that you don't have to change your appearance for anyone other than yourself if you want to. And just because he loves it, I didn't cut it because he would. I didn't even cut it for an appearance thing. Like, I didn't cut it for fashion, or I didn't cut it because I thought it would be beautiful. I knew I needed to release everything at least once, you know, whether or not I liked it, and I knew that it could grow back if I hated it and I just thought it was the ugliest thing and I was miserable. But I never really regret things, because I know I made the right decision. Also, I was watching someone's video recently about when she shaved her head or something, and that it's like a big fuck you to society, and it is. And that's another reason that I did it, because I don't think that women should look a certain way, or have to look a certain way, or be a certain way, or please people, or anything. We're not made for that. I don't care who thinks that. And a lot of people in my life think that. People that I love think that. Not my husband. But, you know, it's just wrong. It's incorrect. I don't care. Women can do whatever they want. Men can do whatever they want, as long as you're not hurting someone else. That's a big thing. You should not harm other people. But if you're just, you know, making them uncomfortable because you're strong, or because you're decisive or different, then oh fucking well. Like, if my haircut can make a stance, then cool. Otherwise, just let me have short hair. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It does not. And I also think that it's weird how a lot of people will react negatively and they don't even know me, because there are a lot of people out there who have cancer, who have alopecia, who have all of these like diseases or illnesses or any number of reasons, who pull their hair. I forgot what it's called, but my cousin had that. You know, pull your hair out. There's all these things that could be wrong with someone, you know, physically, or something they can't control, and they might cut their hair, and you don't know what's going on personally in their life. And then your negative reaction to their haircut just makes everything worse. You know, I'm so lucky that I don't have to deal with those things. But I just can't even imagine how negative people are. I'm sure they are that way with people who have to shave their head, you know. So I wasn't really afraid once I decided to do this. The only things that I was worried about was the reaction of people at work. Not worried about, like, oh, if they feel a certain way that I did the wrong thing, but just I knew it would be really hard to deal with, especially at the beginning, because when you're new to a decision, you don't even get any chance to, like, you know, settle into it yourself before you hear everyone else's opinion on it. So that's hard. Same thing with artwork, man. It's like you'll show this art piece of you coping with something or dealing with something, you know, and you're in the middle of it, working on that in your own heart, and then everyone tears it apart. Shit like that's really tough. And of course I had the awful, stupid fear in the back of my mind that I'd be ugly, or that I was so worried about my scalp because I didn't know how low a 2 would be when I buzzed it. And I always have skin problems, like on and off, new ones all the freaking time, like pop up. I just have hives out of nowhere or whatever. Always be allergic to stuff, and it just felt like I was gonna like just be disgusting. But I still knew I had to do it because of a few days before I ever did this, I just couldn't sleep. I kept waking up at midnight. Like, I would do my whole day, get ready, go to bed, and be tired, lay down, and then just like, I need to shave my head right now. Like, I just kept doing that for days. So I was like, you know what, why am I waiting anymore? There's no reason to. So I did it. So as far as my reactions go, as I already said, my husband loves it more than I could have ever imagined, but he's my best friend and a sweetheart, so of course he would be so kind about this. My dad doesn't care. I've come to the kitchen table when I used to live at home with my parents and like look any kind of way, and he never even reacts. He's just like, hey, what's up? Like, he doesn't ever care. My mom I haven't seen yet, but I sent her a picture and she said I was beautiful, so it's fine. And then as far as work goes, my coworkers are really nice about it, but I mean, I cut hair, I work with the public, so I've had every reaction under the sun. The funniest one to me is people who try to act like nothing happened, so they just like avoid eye contact. You know, like my regular customers, they just like, it's so funny, I don't know why. Just like avoid eye contact as much as possible so they don't have to discuss it. And I'm just like, I'm like laughing in my head. I've had a bunch of old men, like a couple people will be like, whoa, what did you do? Like overkill kind of a thing. Rude as fuck, but I'm just like, ha, okay. You're gross. Like, I don't understand. I've had some older men say, you know, okay, well, now that you did it, grow it out, so it's how it should be. Because women should be a certain way. I can't even begin. I mean, I deal with that before I even cut my hair, so yeah, lots of sexism, lots of all that great stuff in the world, right? It doesn't matter. Women can look however they want, and a lot of people are just afraid of that. Men can look however they want to. Wear a dress. No one cares. Gender roles are the dumbest things ever. What else have I had? I've had a lot of, like, the most random people tell me they love it so much. And, like, this one guy was like, you cut it the perfect length. And just, like, I don't know, just, like, really sweet stuff out of nowhere. People that don't even talk to me normally are, like, so happy. Or just, like, shocked by the fact that I did it. I think that just it's so easy to get settled into like one place in your life and just bored and mundane and stuck in the routine. At least for me, it's important for me to move. Otherwise it just gets so sludgy and I feel like I'm just in this boring state and I'm just going to work and I'm just making money to die. It's just awful. So anyway, like, people that have known me long enough or have ever listened to me actually were all like so excited and they're like, finally you did it, because I've always talked about this, you know. And people that were surprised, they don't really know me because I don't ever talk about something and then not do it, you know. I'm not really that person to say, oh, I'm gonna do this one day, you know. I actually end up doing it because I'm making effort to complete my goals. I'm not one for bucket lists, but this would be on there if I had one. And I did it! And now I know that I can just do whatever hairstyle I want, because if I hate it, I can cut it all off and I know what my egghead looks like. I guess what I'm tending to do is just meet everybody where they're at as far as their reaction. Like, if they try to be funny, then I just say a joke back. If they're rude, then I just come back with my classic sarcasm. Because there's no reason for me to be polite if you're not being nice to me. That's how I feel anyway. You get what you dish out. for me. I'm very quiet, but I'm pretty quick-witted. I think that's why I was made to be quiet, so I don't get in trouble too much. Like today, someone was like, this old man, he was like, oh my gosh, what did you do? You cut off all your pretty hair? You know, I was like, yeah, I did. And he's like, what does your boyfriend think of it? I was like, my husband helped me cut it. And they took it as this whole huge diss, but, you know, that was a really rude comment. Like, what? Are you calling me ugly now because I cut off my pretty hair? Like, I don't need to be pretty. I don't need to be beautiful. I don't even need to look good. I can be ugly all I want, and it's fine, you know? And something else that's interesting is everyone's like, that likes it, or people that are kind of uncomfortable but they like it, are like, well, you know, you're lucky, you have the head for it. It's ridiculous though, because people will always say that, like, you have the head for it, or you have the body for it, or you can rock it, I wish I could rock it. The only difference is that I did it, that other people do it, and you don't. You know, like, that's what makes them rock it. If you cut your hair a certain way, or if you wear a certain thing and you love it, it looks good on you. That's what it is. So that is confidence, and that's the secret. It's not a certain head or a certain body or whatever. It doesn't matter. No one ever like cuts their hair and then someone's like, ooh, well, you really didn't have the head for it. You know, which is interesting. And I find it funny that people feel the need to say anything at all about my appearance or anyone's appearance, because so many people, you know, might not look a certain way that I like, but I never say anything to them. Like, I only say things to people if I like something. I compliment their shoes or their hair, their face, I don't even know, their laugh, their smile, stuff like that, if I love it. And if I don't like something, I shut up. It doesn't matter, or I don't even think about it. Like, because it's just so basic that if you don't like anything, or if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. If you don't like anything. I don't know. Yeah. I cut my hair. I'm so happy I did it. I love it. You know, there's moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no hair. Like, I kind of wish I had hair to just do something else, but it's only been a week. I didn't want to wait too long to make this video because it would start growing back and like, it wouldn't be fresh, but I'm kind of glad that I've had a week of reactions. I feel like this week made me sick because I'm just so introverted and empathetic and sensitive that I just had a lot of people looking at my head recently, and I'm tired and I feel like shit. But I still feel really beautiful that I did it. I feel like this was the first time that I ever cut my hair for a positive reason, because I felt good enough to strip down everything and still love myself. And man, it took a lot to make it to this point. I'm not perfect and I'm not going to be happy forever, and I'm sure I'm going to fall into depressions at different times again. I don't think it's something that goes away. But I'm so proud of like this point of happiness and confidence in myself to be able to just take my hair off my head and still look at myself and like be happy about it, and be happy at the person that I am. So yeah. So that's what's going on with me. If you cut your hair, or if you want to, or if you want to talk about hair with me, I could talk about hair forever, apparently. That's why I became a barber. So, yeah, talk to me below. I probably forgot a million things. It's so hard to fully talk about everything I feel about this situation, about women shaving their heads, about people just doing what they want with their life and, you know, being different or being themselves. There's so much to talk about on that, but this is all I can think about right now. So anyway, bye guys!